Namaskar and welcome to Indian Coin View, your favorite channel in which we discuss a lot about coins and currencies around the world. So guys, today we are going to look into the favorite banknote in my collection as of now. That's the Tibetan 100 Srang banknote. So a lot of people got fantasies over this banknote because of its like the way it is printed, the design that it is like on the face of the bank and the other side of the banknote, and like the amount of meaning that a particular culture has like tried to adopt through his banknote and want to share through this banknote. Like most of the time, I mean, like if you're going into the history, a lot of you might see that a lot of countries has incorporated certain designs in their banknotes because they want to spread certain kind of messages, they want to spread certain kind of culture and tradition. And this banknote of Tibet has got like everything together. So as of now in my collection, this is the favorite banknote of mine. So let's look into it in detail about this particular banknote. So as I said before, this particular banknote was issued by Tibet in between 1942 to 1959. The history of Tibetan banknotes is like relatively small compared to the coin history of Tibet. It only lasted between 1912 to 1959, and that's the only period in which Tibet has started issuing the banknote. And before that, Tibet used to like use the currency of India and other related other surrounding kingdoms for their usually purpose, but mostly they have used the coins in the Tibet when the Tibet was existing as a country. So this particular banknote that we are seeing here, this was issued in 1942. So Tibet, what happened is that when Tibet started issuing these banknotes, they didn't know how to like print and what all technology they have to use and everything. So the history says that from India, at that time British India was a like nearby, and Calcutta was a prominent banknote printing center in India. And the dye and the amount of color that you are seeing here, like all these coloring agents, all of them came from India to Tibet, if you are like looking into the history. And if you want to know more about this, how these were printed and exact method and everything, there is a paper written by Wolfgang Busch. I have given the link to that in the description. You can read that paper. It gives an amazing detail of how these were printed. So that's how this printed. Now the important thing you have to understand about this banknote is that this is entirely handmade. When I say handmade, the paper that you are like seeing here is actually handmade. So this paper was made in a factory called Chitung. Sorry if my pronunciation is not that great because I don't know how to pronounce Tibetan names, but Chitung was the paper factory near Lhasa, the Tibetan capital. So these particular kind of banknotes were actually like minted first in the Potala Palace of Dalai Lama, which was in the Lhasa, and then later it got like shifted to the Tapchi or Trapshi or Chahishing Lekung Mint, which is near the Potala Palace in Lhasa. So this how these banknotes were printed is that like they took like two papers, 1 and 2, like both sides, and they block print. So each side there are like around 10 to 13 blocks they were like printing and printing over and over again in, and the other side also they are like printing again. Now these things that you are seeing here, this is actually the sign of Dalai Lama. It's also block printed. This is a sign of the Min, again block printed. Now all of them will be printing, and the face value of the banknote, like you can see here. So this is like 100 written in Tibetan, and 100 Srang is written here. Srang Tale is written here. So these are like written by hand. So all of them were like written by hand. Then they take a third paper in which they will like writing the security thread. I will be showing it like again in the end of the video. Then they will be like printing it, like pasting all of them together. So that's how. So this is like three paper compressed together to make this one banknote. That's how they are used to make this banknote. Now the prominent colors of this banknote, orange, yellow, and some of the banknotes have green color also. All of them came from India, and depending upon the kind of weather condition they are subjected to, the colors may change. Like sometimes the grade of yellow changes, grade of orange changes. So it depends upon the kind of weather they were like going through. Another important fact about this banknote is the kind of paper they have made. So this paper actually have some kind of poisonous roots and seeds in order to prevent them from eroding from insects and rats. So that's an amazing way of making the paper they have followed. I strongly suggest you go through that paper so that you can get a complete understanding of how they were issued. Now let's look into the features of this particular banknote. So you can see that this entire banknote is actually a really big banknote. The printed side of this banknote only is around 182 into 117 millimeters, so it's 18 into 17 centimeter. That's the printed area only, and the outside area depends upon banknote to banknote because that's leftover paper. So when numismatists or notophilists are considering, they are only usually considering this printed area. Now let's look into the features of this banknote. So this side of this banknote that you are seeing, it has a really great cultural depiction of Tibetan people happening here. So in the center place you are seeing two Tibetan lions, one male and one female, holding a particular kind of plate which has a lot of prosperous items like elephant tusks, gold earrings of kings and queens. So all those they are relating to the prosperity that were existing in Tibet during that time. In the outer section, this particular panel, you are seeing actually the Ashtamangala design of the Buddhism. So Ashtamangala is 8 auspicious symbols of Buddhism that are shown to show the prosperity and have a good life. So they have all of them, like the knot of life, lotus, conch shell, everything depicted here. And then on the outer side of that there is a rhombus kind of design. So that's how they are designed in this side. Now the writings on this portion and this portion, it depends. Some place it's written as Tibetan government is all victorious anywhere, and in bottom line it is written government and religion is one, and paper money valued at 100 Srang. So that's what's written here according to some sources. And as I said, all of them are written by hand. These numbers are written by hand, and this also are written by hand. So this is handwritten. Now if you're looking into the other side, here also you can see a great picture. So the picture that here is actually of a monk. This particular picture, if you can see clearly, this is a monk, and here also there is a holy man. So these are two holy monks sitting under a tree. So this particular kind of tree is called Leiden tree. It's a kind of flowering tree seen in South Indian continent and everything usually. I mean the Asian continent, South Asian continent usually. And there are two cranes here and here. So this crane is symbolizing the longevity, and there are two deers also here. So the deers are showing the prosperity, and there is a mountain behind this, if you can see that. So here you can see there is a mountain also. So this mountain is also showing some kind of strength and protection, and this particular holy man is actually pouring some kind of liquid from a holy kind of vase. So this vase is actually a holy magic bottle, and it symbolizes the fertility that is given to the earth through this particular thing. Now two flying bats are shown here. Now bats are not so considered as a good symbol anywhere around the world, but during those times bat were really considered as a really precious sign. So this bat were actually showing the felicity and fortune. And here you can see there is a small doubt. So this is another security feature that is adopted in this particular banknote. And so that's this is actually a yin yang sign, a small yin yang sign. They have put it like this. So this is again actually a great depiction of the cultural ideologies of the Tibetan, and you can see the rhombus kind of design and a floral design is surrounding this plant, these parts. So again they have shown their great culture. Now let's look into the security feature of this. So I hope you can see the security thread here. So according to different sources, what it is written is that again the Tibetan government is victorious in all places. from heavily guarded, from a heavily appointed government, the value of this particular banknote is 100 Srang and everything. So that's written. As I said before, this was written on a different paper. The other side, both of the sides are like printed on a two different papers, and at the end all of them are like pasted together and pressed together. So that's how these particular banknotes are made. Now according to some of the sources, what they are saying is that on the back side of the other paper, it is this particular security thread is written, and then they are pasted together. But majority of the sources say that this is like written on a third paper, and all the three papers are compressed together, and hence the banknote is made like this. So that's the details of the Tibetan banknote as we have discussed today. I hope you liked the discussion about this particular banknote, and if you have it, do comment it below, or if you have any of the banknote in this particular series, please do let me know through the comments and your thoughts about this banknote, or if you want to get this banknote, anything related to this banknote, you can add it in the comment section. And as I always say, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you will not be missing any kind of such interesting update that is coming through the channel related to coins and banknotes around the world. And till meeting with a new banknote or coin, bye bye.